Hey guys, and welcome to game number 74 out of 100 of the Mack vs. Machine series, where I'll be playing 100 games of Scrabble against the top online bot, HastyBot. We're just coming off of a pretty crazy game in game number 73 that ended in a tie, so be sure to go check that one out if you haven't already. But meanwhile, let's go ahead and jump right into game number 74. HastyBot will be first in this game, and wow. Okay, so HastyBot opens with Lounger, playing it such that it ends one spot before the triple word score. So, unfortunately, we don't have an S. And we've got a decent rack, but I don't think we have a bingo. We'd have damnably with a B. But we now have to decide, do we want to leave that open and risk HastyBot getting a huge play with an S for like 70 points? Or do we want to block? The problem is, we're down 70 already because he just bingoed. So on one hand, it's like, you want to leave it open because you don't want to be sacrificing points to block when you're already down so much, and maybe I can draw an S and get a big score and come back. On the other hand, it's like you want to block it because you don't want him to score 80 there and then the game be basically out of reach after only 2 turns. So, what do we do? I mean, I guess we could play, like, Yardman. It, like, quasi-blocks. It doesn't entirely block, because, of course, things like ERS will still fit there. Like, I don't see a good way for us to fully block, because we could parallel above Lounger, but if we play something like May, then he could easily just score with like a word ending in AYS. So it doesn't actually even look like we can block entirely. So if we can't block, I do think I kind of like a play like Yardman, because at least then we're turning over a lot of tiles, which maximizes our chances of drawing an S, which is so key here. So I don't really want to play something like May, because ALND is a bit more of a well-developed leave for bingoing, but I'd rather prioritize trying to draw an S. So I think something like Yardman that at least somewhat blocks and also gives us a good chance to draw the S makes a decent amount of sense. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, he plays exec. So presumably still no S for him, and neither for us. So now we have a few choices. We can keep that open and play something like EEW for 22. Or we can play Weenie in the top right for 35. I feel like this is probably better. I mean, so 13 more points. EILN is a pretty strong leave. And the nice thing about EEW is this takes another E in the front to make EEEW. So it does set ourselves up well for 7s. And we do want to keep this board as open as possible, given we're down. So 13 less points. There's also a G, which goes pretty well with this rack, with ING. The problem is if we don't bingo, we're saddled with all 1-point tiles, which I really don't love. And I think doing this, just to block that spot, makes sense, because we're going to be down 50 points. It's not that much, and I don't want this to turn into being down over 100 if he pulls the S. The board is plenty open. I mean, we have all these floaters and Lounger. We have now the E's in the top right I'll be opening. We have the bottom right as well, the E and the C. So I think this board is plenty open for a comeback. I'm going to just play Weenie here. I think it's better to keep things a little safe. Okay. So he plays Frau, and not the best draw ever for us. We now do pill the S, so it might have worked out a little better to leave it open. Of course, I'm not going to just play Loungers. That doesn't really score that much and get rid of the S. So probably going to play something like Flop through this O to go for a bingo. There's also Purple. It scores a little better. That scores 19. Gets rid of the E, though. We've already been playing off a lot of E's, so I do like the idea of keeping the E. Flop is 13, so it's 6 less. E and RS is a lot more likely to bingo, though. I don't see a way to score a ton of points. Don't think we have anything to this E. Yeah, probably flop here is fine. I think the bingo percentage is increased enough relative to purple that it's worth the 6-point sacrifice. Yeah, it's not a play I'm thrilled about making, only scoring 13 when I'm down 80. but I think I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Alright, so bad news, he bingoed. Good news, I have a bingo. We're down 150. 155 to be exact. But I'll be at least scoring 70-ish here. So relines, Leorns are the 7s. I don't think I have anything else. Red lines doesn't fit. So I think playing with flops makes the most sense. It scores more than detonates and also expands the board on the left a little more, keeping it more open, which I'm going to need to do since I'll still be down like 80. So relines or Leorns doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. I'll play relines. Yeah, I don't think there's anything better. Okay, so Quarry, that's a lot. 54, so we're still down 140. I do have prevails, though, so that's going to be another 98. So we are not out of this at all, guys. I mean, I don't think it's really worth thinking much more here. That's 98 points, and we're not going to be able to do better, so let's do it. Okay, vocoder comes down, so, alright, we're down 70. So we're still at a deficit, but things are looking a bit better. So we have options here. So let's go back to this lounger spot. I could play something like soy. That's 55 points. That's a lot of points. I also have options like buoy over here for 32, which keep a very nice AMS leave, also preserving the possibility of a play with loungers next turn. This pool, let's keep an eye on this pool, guys. It's really bad. There's no E's left. And there's still like 30 tiles left, and there's no E's left. There are 6 I's, 2 G's. It's a very clunky pool overall. I mean, there are some good bingo tiles, N, R, S, T, A, but overall, it's a pretty clunky pool. I feel like we probably want to take the points, but I'm not positive. The thing is, like, with buoy, it's like, I keep SAM. I'm actually not that likely to draw a good play there next turn, because the Y is so useful, and MM is good, but, like, Sam isn't a word. I need to draw the O for Sam. So it's not like buoy actually really saves a good play there. So I think I'm better off just cashing in now. And then, assuming I cash in now, do I want to play Say or Soy? Probably Soy. There are a few A's left, whereas only one O. So that could be an argument for keeping the O. You also do save Umbo and Op. So maybe I should play Say. Yeah, it might be better to play Say. I guess I could I also consider Umbo saving Say? It just feels wrong. Like, I just don't think the Y has much of a potential to improve. Well, it definitely doesn't have any potential to improve beyond Say. And Umbo could potentially improve, I think. Also, keeping SAY if I draw a bunch of these I's, like, I think I'd rather play fewer tiles just to minimize the chances of pulling a ton of I's. So I think Say, it's really between Say or Soy. I'm a bit conflicted, because normally the A is better than the O, but there are more A's left, and we do save Umbo, and this spot is pretty unlikely to be used. So let's see, Say gets me within 15. And yeah, if I can get down Umbo next turn. I also have Umbo here to the O and vocoder as a backup. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Say, guys. I think the O is actually better given my rack. Okay. Interesting. So he plays baggy. We don't actually draw an I, which is probably a good thing for us. We're down, what are we down? We're down 47. We have Dumbo or Budo. Budo's 39, keeps MD. Dumbo is 34, keeps HT. HT is probably a little bit better. Maybe not, though, with 2 T's unseen. But the 5 points are definitely important. So I think Buto looks good. Gets us within 8. If we can pull a few vowels, then this blank and this S... Actually, the D is very good for detonated. So yeah, Buto's got to be the play. I mean, unless I'm missing just something that scores more elsewhere. Like, do we have anything through this U and A? Duma? That doesn't score nearly enough. Yeah, I think Buto has to be it. Dits. So yeah, we're down. I just feel like we're not really catching up. He keeps just sort of scoring really well, unfortunately. So, 43 down. Huh. Now what? Do I have anything with detonated? I don't think anything particularly good. I mean, I could certainly play meaty. That's an option. I could drop MI over here. I guess the question I need to ask myself is, like, do I think I need to bingo? Like, kinda? I mean, 43 points is a lot to make up without any high scoring tiles on this board. But maybe if I can pull the blank, I can somehow win in an endgame without bingoing? I don't know, it seems tough. Like, let's say I play meaty, I mean, 25, I'm down 18. Maybe if I can pull, like, the O for Oda, I could have some chances. There's only 7 in the bag, so I need to start watching that very closely, too. I don't think I can... I'm looking at, like, a setup such as this, but there's still an A and a blank unseen. I don't think that's reasonable. There's also just not enough upside. Like, AIIDRT isn't going to score or really ever bingo there. And, like, the thing is, even if I do decide I have to bingo, I mean, how do I really open something up? I mean, I think trip, setting up a trip is also probably too desperate. I mean, there's an A and S and a blank unseen. Like, if I were down more, I'd try something like that, but I still think there's enough chance that I could somehow pull this out without bingoing. Yeah, there is this detonated line, so if I could consider, like, what if I play MI? How likely am I to bingo there? It's just so hard to bingo with no ease. Like, I probably need to draw the blank to bingo. I mean, rightards maybe with an RS draw, that's super unlikely. Unitard won't even fit. Diatron won't even fit. Well, Diatron would fit on the left. The nice thing about playing more tiles is I do give myself more chances to draw the O, which could be really nice. Like, if I can play meaty, I could draw Tarok for a lot of points. That'll be like 60. Yeah, I mean, I'm only down 18. If he empties the bag and I draw well, I could... Like, I probably need to draw the blank and something else that's good. But, like, I could definitely conceive this working. Especially, I do keep the possibility of Tarok. The blank also could give me ditzy plays. Yeah, I probably need to draw the blank. I don't see ever winning this without the blank. And if I need to draw the blank, then playing off, like, 4 tiles instead of 2 is definitely going to help me. I guess then, do I want to play off more tiles? Like, I could play Timid. 5's too much to give up, I think. I need the points. And also the T is nice, like I said, because of the possibility of Tarok. Alright, I think I'm going to go with meaty. I just don't see anything better. Yeah, alright, that's not going to do it. Because, yeah, he plays Kroon, and he's got the blank and the S. And the J, I mean, I have Jalop. Can I, like, trick him? Because it's, I mean, against a human, this is completely lost. I'm wondering if I can, like, trick him into not blocking Jalop and win this. Probably not. I mean, like, because I just play Jalop, he can probably go out. Yeah, I mean, he has, like, unhairs. He can also just play Jihus for 45. Like, that's the thing. Where can I play... What if I play, like, something silly? What if I play Riot? If I play Riot, and he doesn't block Jalop, can I win? I mean, this is never going to work against the human. I'm just wondering if I can exploit HastyBot. But the problem is, like, he can... I think he just plays HI over here on the right and wins. Like, he doesn't have to... He's just going to score too many points. Jalop isn't enough. Yeah, no, okay, I just lose here, guys. It's worth thinking about that, but I just lose, so I might as well do this. I mean, there's no win. There's no way. Yeah, alright, so he just plays John's. He has IU, so he's actually might not even be going out, but it's not like I'm going to score much more by not by slow playing him. So I think I just play Tori or Rhodey over here. And it'll be close-ish, but definitely not going to be enough. So yeah, 448 to 425 is the final score. Good game overall. I was down a lot. I think I'm really happy with the job I did at keeping this interesting, because I was definitely playing from a deficit the whole way down. Meaty was interesting. I feel like I probably still gave myself the best shot I could have. But yeah, let's take a look at this one. It felt pretty solid throughout, but you never know until you really look. So yeah, Lounger, and then, yeah, I'm already really in a pickle here. I saw Marley as well, but I figured Yardman has to be better. Marley is better on equity, just because ADN is a fairly strong leave. But here, going for more turnover for the S is certainly more important than a marginal increase in bingo percentage, just because that's, even after a play like Marley or Yardman, it does partially block this, but it's still very easy to get an overlap, like I said, with ERS, ADS, who knows? It's pretty easy to get a 60-point play there. So I think Yardman is a good play, like blocking a little bit so that if he did draw an S, hopefully the damage isn't so bad, but also turning over a lot of tiles for myself for the S. So yeah, he plays exec. Weenie. Oh, there's also Weenie over here. I didn't actually consider that as an option. But I think, honestly, playing it here is fine. I still kind of, even, again, it's weird because, like, I'm down, so on one hand you think, okay, maybe I do want to leave the S open. On the other hand, like, just because you're down 50, like, after this play, it's not a horrible position. I mean, down 50, the board is absolutely wide open. All you need is one good draw, and it's a tie game. Like, if you play Ew or Weenie down here, all of a sudden, if he has the S, he could be scoring 60 there, and what became a 50-point deficit is now over a 100-point deficit. So I think, even though I'm down, like, it's very important, guys. Like, when you're down, like, you still need to be careful sometimes, because you want to make sure you stay within striking distance. Like, if it's a really bad board, or you're down a ton, like way over 100, that's one thing, but if you're down 50 on an open board, that is no cause for panic at all. Like, I personally think it's fine to just play more safe here. Now, I mean, really the worst case scenario with Loungers is something like Loungers and Say, which I actually ended up hitting later in the game. There's really no potential for huge 100-point plays there, or even big 50, 60-point plays other than that. So I think this is fine. Like I said, if I were down 50 more points than we're down now, or if this board were looking a lot more constrained, I'd probably be a bit more concerned and feel like I needed to take some more risks, but I'm definitely not going to panic being down 50 on a board that looks like this, which is just completely wide open and rife with tiles to play 8-letter bingos through. Let's see. Oh, I missed Flens over here, which is, yeah, that's probably worth it. I mean, I'm just sacrificing so many points by playing flop, and ENRS is a very strong leave, but 34 versus 13, 21 more points. And PR is still a pretty good leave in its own right, that I probably should be taking the points here. Because you also, the thing with fishing is you really don't want to miss. Because if somehow I don't draw a bingo here, then I'm going to have all one-pointers and really, really just not be scoring. And I'm going to be down over 100 very quickly. So it worked out playing flop. But yeah, I think I would have played Flens if I saw it. That's probably like a higher end of the small mistake or lower end. That's probably a medium mistake, really. But I did fortunately draw a bingo, so I was able to stay in this game. And yeah, he gets core 8 for a lot. I, again, managed to get some good tiles, and even though I was down 150, I'm very much still alive here. And yeah, kind of an interesting decision between Soy and Say. Again, Soy is, of course, the standard play. A's are just usually better than O's. But again, I felt there were 3 A's unseen versus 1 O, so I'm more likely to get duplicate A's, and also keeping Umbo together for this D1 spot, which is pretty unlikely to get used, as well as Umbo over here, just as a guaranteed bailout play for next turn, was nice. And that the upside of keeping the A wasn't really particularly strong. It's not like the A is such a great tile on this board, so I think playing Say makes sense. Kind of a clunky rack for him. Yeah, Baggy seems good. You could play Zag, but I don't like that because it gives back this S-hook that could become very hard to block for him in the future. So I think Baggy is fine, just sort of forcing the issue, being aggressive. You've got good scoring tiles, so if I don't have anything there, you could easily pull something with the Z or the K to score a lot and more or less end the game. Yabuto, I think, has to be good here. I mean, it scores well, takes out that spot. DM is a great leave with detonated available, so I'm happy with that play. Yeah, really good draw for the bot here, pulling the blank. Ditz, I mean, this looks deadly. I mean, how does he really lose from his perspective? He's got okay blank, which is sort of what I was going for to hit this spot. He's going to get 50-point plays there, 60-point plays very often next turn. I mean, they're really, with that pull, I'm not going to hit anything with detonated hardly ever. Like, I mean, he's got to be feeling like he can't lose after Ditz. And yeah, tough turn here. I mean, yeah, there's MI or AMI up here. I just didn't really feel like, I mean, keeping DIRT on this board. Like, I figured either way, like, there's no chance I'm winning this game without drawing the blank, and probably, like, the O for this spot over here, maybe the S, and a bunch of other tiles to go with it. Like, I'm going to need a really good draw. And keeping DIRT, I'm more or less relying on the blank for a bingo with detonated. So I'm going to need, like, not just a blank, because even things like blank and L, like Tendril and Trindle, aren't going to even fit. Like, I need a very good draw in addition to the blank. And I felt with Meaty, like, I need the blank and less of a good draw, so to speak. Like, the K is really good for Turok. The O will probably give me bingos on the left. Like, there's just a lot more, I think, that can work well after Meaty. And I also turn over an extra tile, right, which gives me one more shot at pulling the blank. Of course, unbeknownst to me at the time, it was on HastyBot's rack. So no matter what I played, there was a 0% chance of actually drawing the blank. But, of course, from my perspective, I don't know that. I have to assume that the blank could be in the bag. And assuming it is, I get another crack at drawing it if I play Meaty. So I'm fine with Meaty here. I guess... Oh, maybe Idiom. Maybe I should have played Idiom, now that I think of it. Yeah, I actually probably should have played Idiom to open another bingo line. I missed that. It scores one less point, but now, the thing is, if I can pull the blank now, I actually have a very good chance at bingoing on the top. And he might not block. So yeah, that's actually kind of a missed opportunity, I think, here, because... he could... Well, if I draw the S in the blank, I'm actually almost definitely winning, because I'll hit something with detonates pretty much all the time. And even if I don't, then, yeah, he's got to... Because then he either has to not block the top, which is pretty scary, or potentially sacrifice a lot of equity to block the top. And I might be able to then outrun him elsewhere. So this is actually, I think, a pretty big mistake. It wouldn't have mattered given what I drew. But again, just because I really am not in a good position after Meaty, like being still down 18 and his turn, I do need to open some more stuff up, which Idiom does perfectly, just for the cost of only a single point, which is unlikely to matter relative to the advantages of this play of opening more bingo lines. So equity-wise, it's not a mistake, but strategically, I think just given the position I'm in, it's actually a pretty sizable error. So yeah, I'm disappointed I didn't see that. Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered for this game, given that he had KS blank on his rack. I was really not going to pull anything, but still, that's a sizable strategical mistake. So a little disappointed I didn't consider that. But yeah, of course, after Kroon, I see what he has. I'm completely dead. So I just cash in Jalop. He has plenty of outs. He can play through this K with Punkish, or Husky can play on Hairs or Nourish through this I, but he just elects to score points, which is perfectly fine since I can't score nearly enough on my outplay to catch him. So once again, game ends 448 to 425 in HastyBot's favor. Overall, I'm like okay with how I played that game. I mean, I think Idiom was my biggest mistake. Flop was also a mistake earlier. I should have just taken the points with Flens. But, I mean, aside from those two plays, I'm happy with how I played. But those were both, like, moderate-sized mistakes, easily, I think. So, not happy with those, but overall, I mean, it was going to be a pretty tall order to come back from the start to that game with HastyBot putting the Lounger in that spot and me kind of having to block, and then he just kept bingoing. But yeah, generally pretty good effort, I think, staying in this game, but could have done a little better. But so it goes. So we take another loss, but we are still doing quite well in the series, and hopefully we can turn things around for game number 75, which will be coming out very soon. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good one. Bye-bye.